So, if you thought the Mustang Dark Horse was going to be the most powerful pony for the S650 Mustang, well, today I've got news for you for the Shelby variant for the S650 Mustang. So, as we all know, Ford recently unveiled the S650 Mustang at the Detroit Auto Show. I was really excited to be finally seeing the S650 Mustang in person. I feel like we've been talking about the S650 Mustang for so long on our channel, but now we finally have the S650 Mustang officially unveiled to us. Now, when Ford did announce the S650 Mustang, they announced the base version, which will be the EcoBoost Mustang powered by the 2.3-liter Turbo 4. And you obviously get your GT with the 5.0 Gen 4 Coyote motor and an all-new trim called the Dark Horse, which will sit above the Mustang GT with 500 horsepower and, that's the big news, a Tremec manual transmission. So while at launch, the Dark Horse will be the most powerful S650 Mustang you can get, we already have some news for you regarding the S650 Shelby variant that will be available very soon. So in this video, I want to talk about the S650 Shelby GT500. We will touch on what to expect from the GT500 for the S650 Mustang generation in terms of the engine option, horsepower, some renders that we have seen, and of course, when to expect the GT500 to arrive for the 7th generation of the Mustang. While nothing is confirmed from Ford officially yet, there have been a couple of reports circulated that more or less confirms the GT500 for the S650 Mustang generation. Now let's take a look at some of the mock-ups that have been circulating on the internet. They claim to be the S650 Shelby GT500. While I think it is unlikely that the GT500 will look like this, it's great to be able to kind of envision what we're going to be able to get in upcoming years. Someone basically took the S650 Mustang and copied all the S550 GT500 features on it, so you can kind of see the same grille, same front fascia, along with the giant carbon fiber spoiler and of course the carbon fiber wheels. It definitely looks aggressive, but I would imagine the new GT500 will have a lot more unique features for the exterior than just taking a normal S650 exterior and borrow some of the features from the current GT500. Now, it is expected that the Shelby GT500 for the S650 generation will arrive in 2025 as a 2026 model year, which is still a few years down the road, but it's nice to be able to get some news regarding that already. Now, it comes as no surprise that there will be a Shelby variant for the 7th generation of the Mustang. Mustangs have always had a Shelby or a Cobra variant as the top dog Mustang. I cannot honestly think of a Mustang generation that did not have a Shelby or a Cobra variant. If we look at the historic trends, then we can see that typically after a few years of launch, we see the Shelby Mustangs being announced. Now for S197, which started off as a 2005 model year, we got the Shelby GT500s as a 2007 model year, while the S550, which started in 2015, we saw the GT350 in 2016, and of course the Big Daddy GT500 in 2020. So we pretty much know that there will be a Shelby variant for the 7th generation as well. Now the question is, what engine transmission options are going to be available for the S650 Shelby GT500? Look guys, as much as I would love to say that save the manuals and all, I think it's pretty safe to assume that we'll get automatic only GT500 given the current trend that the GT500 has set. It will most likely be the 7-speed dual clutch transmission found in the S550 Shelby GT500. I honestly just don't see Ford developing an all-new dual clutch transmission or an automatic transmission for that matter for the GT500. The 7-speed dual clutch is obviously superior to the 10-speed found on the Mustang GTs, and with internal combustion engine cars eventually phasing out, unfortunately, it does not make business sense to develop an all-new dual clutch transmission or an automatic transmission for the Shelby GT500. Who knows, the Shelby GT500 may receive a last edition or something like that will have a manual transmission as a last hurrah for the Mustang before EVs kind of take over. But at least for now, we'd see an automatic GT500 as they tend to be much faster and put better lapse time, which then of course leads to actual sales of the vehicle. Now, what about the engine? I think this is an interesting one, as typically each iteration of the Shelby GT500 or even the Cobra receives a new engine with significant more horsepower than the previous generation. Again, if you look at the historic trends, we can see the 2003 Cobra, known as the Terminator, made 390 horsepower with a supercharged 4.6-liter V8. Then the 2007 GT500 made 500 horsepower with its 5.4-liter supercharged V8, which was later revised to make 540 horsepower from years 2010 to 2012. Now, it wasn't until 5.8 8-liter arrived for the 2013 model years, which was a supercharged V8 in 2013 and 2014 model years that made a whopping 662 horsepower. Now, S550 Mustang, or S550 generation rather, actually brought back the Shelby GT350, which was more of a track-focused Mustang, so it didn't really compete in horsepower, so it made only 526 horsepower, but was focused on track performance. It had all the suspension component you would kind of expect from a track monster. So if you can exclude that and focus on just the GT500 for the S550 Mustang generation, you can see it utilized a 5.2-liter Predator supercharged V8 engine that made 760 horsepower, which is absolutely insane and pretty tough challenge to surpass that number and be able to put the power down too. So if Ford uses the same 5.2-liter supercharged V8 found in the current GT500, then we aren't talking about a significant increase in terms of power, as I would imagine that motor's pretty tapped out, at least based on stock spec that Ford will allow to ship with a warranty. Now, similar to the transmission, I don't see Ford developing an entire new engine for the GT500 for the S650 Mustang generation, given that there will be no more internal combustion engine vehicles very soon, so we are not going to see a new generation of GT500. This will probably be the last GT500, so developing an entire new engine for only a few years worth of use, I don't think it's going to make much business sense for Ford. So my guess is that we will see some sort of electric assistance, so we'll still have the V8, as I cannot see a GT500 not having a V8 until Ford fully transition to the EV platform. So have a supercharged V8, probably borrowed from the S550 Mustang GT500, but this time around it's going to have some electric assistance with the batteries, which will increase the horsepower to about 850 or 900 horsepower, which in my opinion is going to be completely insane to have a GT500 making 850, 900 horsepower. Not only will the performance be improved, but it will also have instant torque down low because of the electric motor. I cannot believe we're talking about the GT500 or any Mustang really to have some sort of electric assistant, but Ford does decide to pull something of that source. It will also be used to kind of show the world that electric motors can do for Shelby and more specifically Mustang in terms of the performance and of course the benefit of not having to pay for gas ever, which will condition the regular V8 GT buyers to be okay with the concept of having electric motors, kind of like what Ford did with the Ford GT. And when they first brought it back, I want to say 2018 or 2019 model year, they utilized the V6 twin turbo and promoted their branding of EcoBoost. So I'm just kind of curious what Ford is going to offer for the S650 GT500. I know we're still a couple years down the road before we get some official unveil, but I'm sure there's going to be rumors and some leaks leading up to it. So they're expecting to be revealing as 2026 model year, which means 2025 is when the official launch is going to be. So we're still about 3 years away from it. But nonetheless, it's really exciting to be getting some news for the GT500 for the all-new Mustang generation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment below, what do you think about the new GT500 coming for the S650 Mustang? And as always, subscribe to Red 50 for more Mustang content.